What is going on, guys? Nephite3, you're doing another video, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 1, Onikakushi-hen. In the last episode, we learned that Tomitaki is dead, the police want our help, and yeah, a lot of other stuff. Pretty interesting. And let's continue with the tips. There are more than 4. Yes, there are probably a lot more. Oh, and I forgot, I have to click first because it doesn't let me press enter right away. Wow, so annoying. Oh my god, just let me press enter already. Or not, that works too.
直接死因が自殺ってのは分かってますよ。分かっとるわい。人為的にこういう症状が起こせんかと言っとるんだろ。
Does enter work now? Oh my god, I'm more worried about enter than the actual dialogue.
血が出ちゃうのとはちょっとわけが違いますからね。
Some of Tomotaki's fingernails had been pulled out. Fingernails actually rip off surprisingly easy. But it really hurts. Yeah, no duh. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there are a lot of bruises on Tomotaki's body. It's clear from the shape of them that he was first assaulted by someone or a group of people.
分泌物から見て、仏は極度の興奮状態にあったのは間違いないの。では乱闘になって興奮のあまり自分の喉を引っかき出したってことですか。襲った連中さぞや度肝を抜かれたでしょうな。
It is possible in such an abnormal environment a person could perform acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases.
実はな、大石。仏が武器にしたらしい角材な。砂粒とかガードレールの塗装片とかそんなのしか出んかったぞい。星の服の繊維とか皮膚片とかは出んかった。仏は犯人を殴っとらん。
Oh, that's strange.
あるいは殴った角材を星が持ち去ったのかもしれんの。ならわざわざ角材なんて置いていきませんよ。全部持ってっちゃいます。それもそうじゃの。富武氏は結構体格もいいし肌も焼けてるし。そうだな。よく運動しとるようだの。
I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side. Meaning he would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. If a man with such physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around frantically, just unthinkable that he wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was unarmed. This guy had a wooden plank, so I think he'd hit them at least once. Nah, they're just really good at dodging. They've seen every Matrix.
何人くらいいりますかね。アホ、それは大石の方が得意だろうが。アクタレ時代を思い出さんかい。
If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? Wait, am I in Luisi's point of view now? When a group wants to take down a big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I'd guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage.
だとすると、結構犯人は大人数だの。祭りで泥酔した4人以上のグループが怪しいとなるかの。
Oh no, then they might come for the club. We were pretty drunk. A group of 4 or more. Just if they had that many, then they couldn't have hidden the body in less obvious location. Or did he somehow break away from the fatal predicament? Then there would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries.
こっちもそこは重視しとる。徹底的に調べるつもりだが、あまり期待できんな。何しろ、過去にこんな例はないんだからな。
No, we have multiple times, totally.
期待はしませんよ。ですが結果を楽しみにしてます。
What a weirdo we see.
おいさん、課長が呼んでるっす。
すみません。ではまた来年お会いしましょう。おお、いいお年をの。
Yeah, these tips are a little weird when you're not, like, obviously in Keiichi's point of view. Makes you wonder who you're playing as. Search notice. Jiro Tomitaki, deceased. Resident in Cheap Hotel in Sisibone City. Registered under the name Jiro Tomitaki. Pen name. Travel was via folding bike. No license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned on the side of a forest path. Present on the day of the festival. Accompanied by missing Mio Takano. Was seen around 9 p.m. by police. Locations afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. Wallet was among the articles of the deceased. Mere act of violence? From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba, along with the Sobo National Railway line. No individual matching the name Jiro Tomitaki in the residency records of any of the Tokyo words. Compared teeth to dental records. Send to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Send me lol. Contact magazines regarding Jiro Tomitaki. Mio Takano, missing. No Sadiri Clinic. Became close to Tomitaki through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinomiya X. Again at the X. Single. Witnessed accompanying Tomitaki on the festival grounds. Currently missing. Abducted? Or maybe a suspect. An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Need to thoroughly investigate the relationship, place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oisi. Oh my god. Wow, that's great police work. Oh no, it's back to the annoying music. Sleepy.
あー、ケイチくんでっかいあくび。
I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but it doesn't look like I can do that today.
ゆうべ遅くまでテレビ見てたら眠くて眠くて。
ケイちゃんが喜びそうな番組なんかやってたっけ？月旋盤でございます。
ちょっと待て、勝手に想像して決めつけるんじゃね
男の子なら当然です。恥ずかしくないですよ。
Oh my god, Rika. Rika not patting my head only made me feel worse.
ちょっとこの昼休みは爆睡させてくれ。いや本当マジで。
あら、私が黙って見過ごすとお思いで。
No, I think you'd rather kill him instead.
邪魔したら怒る。すごい怒る。はあはあ。
This was just dreadful. Just so sleepy. I slumped my head onto the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. Seemed that Sadako had responded, but I pretended not to hear.
さとこちゃんやめなよ。ケイチくん寝ちゃった。寝顔かいい。後でお持ち帰りしていいから。そっとしときな。向こうへ移動しましょうです。ケイチにうるさいと悪いですよ。
Rika-chan really is a good girl.
先生が来ても起こさないであげましょうです。
I take that back. The excuse that I didn't sleep much last night because I was watching TV was a lie. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Uishi-san that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep. To spend the day like this, it's almost as if the incident with Tomitaki's-san didn't happen at all. It made me think, was Uishi-san just trying to deceive me? But it was probably the truth. One thing was for certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I really didn't know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened in the first place. It ended up with me again, regretting learning something I didn't need to know. That's like a really occurring pattern with Keiichi this arc. If I had never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Oishi-san for this.
それっていつから？ もう次の日にはいなかったって。綿流しの晩に失踪したらしいよ。
Mion whispered to keep the others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up, but I could still tell that she was quite upset. It couldn't be. Are they talking about Tomitaki-san?
さん、けなの？わかんない。私の知る限りではね。
I would have to feign ignorance about this topic because I need to keep it a secret. Rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation, it was much easier to just sit here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on their discussion. Wait, why'd I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung. No, there's no guilt. This is perfect.
で、他にもいるんでしょ？
Wait, what? I want to... No. Oh, I pressed shift instead of enter.
彼女がたたりにあったのか、鬼隠しにあったのかはわかんないけどね。
Onikakushi? Oh my god, they said it! Onikakushi? To be hidden away by a demon? What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good.
いや、何せよ。もう一人いるんだよね。だよね。お社様なら、ね。でも、今年は、出ないよ。バッチャと村長さんが話してたんだけどさ、今年は、事前に警察と話がつけてあるらしいんだよ。何が起こっても、騒ぎにしないで穏便に片付けるって。じゃあ、レナたちが知らないだけで、どこかで誰かが、かもしれないってこと？かもね。次はレナかな。安心しなよ。レナはちゃんと帰ってきたよ。でも、ダメだったんでしょ？昔の話だよ。もうやめよう、この話。
Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was still a bit unclear, but a few words caught my attention. I just wake up and just start screaming, "Hello!" First of all, the term onikakushi. To be demoned away. By the context it was used in, I would guess it's similar to being spirited away. I suspect that is what it meant because Tomitaki-san and that woman, it really bugged me that I don't know her name, vanished after a while Nagansi. The next thing that stuck out was Rena said, "There's another one, right?" Mion also said, "If it's Oyashiro-sama's, yeah," responding to something. If it's Oyashiro-sama's curse, then there had to be two victims. Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Mion saying at the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was a case of Onikakushi. It seems that the curse and being demoned away are different things, and they were phenomena that they were paired together. I recalled Tomitaki-san's terrible end. That was something as elegant as disappearing. Wasn't. Oh my god. I just completely reversed that by just changing was to wasn't, or wasn't to was, whatever. That horrendous end would best be described as cursed. Then, the woman with him, it means she vanished because she was demoned away? What I do know is that there's normally an even number of victims of the curse proper. And the last point that bothered me was Rena. I don't even know if it said proper or not. I clicked too fast. Rena was frightened. For what reason, I didn't know. However, she knew that something had to make her a potential target for Oyashiro-sama's curse. If I recall correctly, Oyashiro-sama would be the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. Isn't a guardian supposed to defend the citizens and drive out the invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday Lucy said that originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there was no longer any distinction between them or regular outsiders. But if that was the case, then I would think that I would be more likely target having moved here more recently than Rena. From her composure, I could infer that she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably relay what I just heard now to Elise-san, informing the police of what I heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep. Ah yes, perfect. It made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would it be better not to seek the answers of those questions? As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I had fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned of these events.
先生が来るでございますわよ。ケイチさん、起きなさいな。
In the distance, I could hear the ringing of the handbell signaling the start of the afternoon classes. Yeah, couldn't sleep at all. I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was in that moment when I leaned against the back of my seat. There was a thumbtack stuck on the back of my chair with tape. Circumstantial evidence was enough. Guilty without trial. Capital punishment. I fiercely jumped up from my seat. And I tripped as my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces had been tied together.
やるじゃねえか、サトコ。俺が寝ている間に気配を消してこれだけの上等をやってくれるんだよ。
The teacher came in right as I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle Sadako.
先生が来ましたよ、ケイチさん。着席遊ばせ。
Clomp, clomp. Oh, yep, forehead flick. Not caring one bit, I made her eat a flick to the forehead.
ケイチさんがいじめた。
ほら、前原くん、下級生をいじめてはいけません。謝りなさい。
Oh my god. I saw Sadako stick her tongue out at me, that little brat.
ほら、前原くん。
へいへい、謝りますよ。サトコさん、ごめんなさい。
In any case, I apologize, even if it was a complete insincere tone of voice. Damn her, I'll remember this.
ケイちゃん、ケイちゃん、その恨みは部活でね。着席、着席。
I sat down after Mion told me to. She'd switched to class representative mode. She really does have like two modes of being that club, yay, or a class representative, yay, mode. With the boring classes finished, school is finally over for the day. Oh my god, I relate to that so much. Now then, what should we do for a club today? Personally, I would like to play that deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Uishi-san. Ren and I weren't even able to test out our strategy.
そうだね。今日こそケイチ君と二人で大勝利だよね。
Yeah, Rena, we're going to fucking murder them.
でもどうでしょうね。
Also, I feel like they really do a good job at like putting you in that interactive role because I find myself saying I and we even though I'm playing as Keiichi.
同じゲームを続けて2日やった試しはありませんし。
Really do a good job with
いいお願
perspective.
いしてみたらどうでしょうです。
Mion looked over at her shoulder as we made eye contact. She slowly tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up.
いっけね。今日おじさんの手伝いの日だ。
No,
悪いみんな、今日なし。
no, no, that's an excuse.
柄にもなく高校なやつだな。
悪い悪い。ほんとすっかり忘れてた。じゃあごめんねみんな。今日はおじさんこれで帰るわ。
Mion left us with that and rushed off to the exit, snatching up her bag.
みーちゃんね、たまに街にあるおじさんのお店の手伝いに行くんだよ。
I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff.
バイト代が出ると言ってましたですわ。結構なお小遣いになるらしいですの。
Oh, wow. I see. She was able to pay for that mountain of games with what she saved up from there.
しかしそれはアルバイトと言うんじゃないのか？校則で禁止されてないか？
家事手伝いは除くと書いてありますです。
Wait, so there's a school rule that no one can get a job? That's kind of weird. Is that what she was calling it? So what now? Pass on the club today?
じゃあ今日はこれで解散かな。
別に部長不在でもいいだろう。
Oh, that's
や
kinda...
ろうぜ、部活。
Yeah, no, wait, Keiichi, I'm usually on your side, but wait for everyone. I opened the club locker and began searching for the deduction game from the ever-growing pile of games.
あったあった。昨日の推理ゲーム。ようやくコツが分かってきたところで中断しちゃったからな。
At the very least, I wanted to repay Sadako for what she did during the afternoon break.
私は構いませんけど、レナさんとリカはどういたします？ケイチ君がどうしてもって言うなら、 ちょっとだけいいかな。僕はみんなが揃っての方がいいなと
Yeah, I
思
kind of
い
agree
ま
with
すです。
Rika on this case. Like, isn't that one of the club rules or something? When she says it like that.
部活がないなら僕はお買い物に行きたかったのです。お醤油とかを買いに行きますですよ。あ、そうでしたわね。すっかり忘れてましたわ。ならレナも久しぶりに宝探しに行こうかな。
What's this now? Everyone was no longer in the mood for club activities? If I kept on trying to push them at it, it may make them realize I had a trick up my sleeve. Ah well, I'll give up this time.
せえ、このゲーム楽しみにしていたのにな。
I shuffled through the codes as if I was still caught up on it.
またの機会に叩きのめして差し上げましたよ。
犯人はサトコ、凶器はピストル。やはり貴様の仕業だったか。
なんですってじゃあ
Sadako looked through the codes on the desk and struck out 3 of them at me.
犯人はケイチ。凶器はロープで犯行現場はラウンジですわ。
ロープなんかいらねえ。このまま締め殺してやら。
いや
Haha, the teacher's gone
ー、
home.
ケイチさんの毛玉な
Phew. Well, I guess it's good that I got that out of my system.
ケイチさん、覚えてらっしゃい。いっぱいいっぱいいたぶられましたですね。かわいそうかわいそうです。かいかい。
Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered codes. I suddenly paused. They were just the suspect codes, but I noticed something strange. Rena, Sadako, Rika, Keiichi, Mion, Satoshi. Satoshi? None of the codes were made by us. Or at least every code besides this one had the name of a club member. Does this mean that the Satoshi fellow is a member? Was there someone in the class named Satoshi? I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi on the class roster stuck up on the wall.
ケイチくん、早く片付けよ
Being asked by Rena, I finished up quickly. Sadako and Rika-chan had already headed merrily off to their lockers, so we were the only ones left in the classroom. Right now, Rena had already gotten her bag and was ready to leave.
レナ、やっぱりこのクラスからも転校で出て行っちゃった生徒って結構いるんだろ。
I tried asking Rena in a bit of a roundabout way. Rena made a troubled face then answered.
うん。ひなみざわって田舎でしょ。転校していっちゃう人も時々いるよ。
じゃあこのサトシってやつも転校してったのか。
ごめん。よく知らないの。
There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate.
その、意地悪で言ってるんじゃないの。ちょうど去年、レナが転校してきてから入れ替わりだったかな。だからあんまりお話ししたことないの。ごめんね。
Sassy baka! Okay, I'm gonna get so much hate for that. I am not sure, sorry. Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. I was saddened by her denial and felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Though I do appreciate that they kept that unsettling curse thing from me. But if everyone is worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? For a moment I wondered what kind of face I was making just then with those mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance.
ケイチくん、怖い顔してる。
I just get snake eyes.
なんでだろう。
It was probably exactly the kind of face Rena said it was. It appeared my grim expression had frightened her.
あ、ごめん。今日の部活楽しみにしてたからさ。残念だっただけだよ。
I rustled Rena's hair.
帰ろうぜ。
Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. Yay, transition! Oh yay, the title screen music. I wondered why. Why have I been getting this dumb feeling lately? I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long, outstretched side out gave no answer to my naive inquiry.
ケイチ君、疲れてるのかなかな
Rena timidly questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made the situation even more unsettling.
そうか？
うん。今朝からケイチ君、なんだか元気ないよ。風邪かな
Physically, I was pretty sure I was in perfect health. It may not seem like it, but I've had perfect attendance since elementary school. Rena continued on since I didn't give her an answer.
きっとケイチ君、引っ越しの疲れが今になってきたんだよ。前に住んでたところとは全然違うところだもん。いろいろ慣れたり覚えたり、疲れて当然だよ。
そうなのかな？
うん。絶対にそうだよ。
No, it doesn't have to
レナも
be.
最初そうだったから、わかるんだよ。だよ。
I wondered if Rena also experienced a slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Thinking so, I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I
レ
felt.
ナがひなみ沢に転校してきた時の話が聞きたいな。どんなだった？
Feeling I had been drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened.
ケイチ君と同じだよ。人の名前も村の中も全然わかんなかった。みーちゃんとかが親切にしてくれたから全然寂しくなかったけど、やっぱり心細かったよ。
Rena told me all the details of when she had moved here. All of her first acquaintances and surprises, worries and good
じゃあ
times.
レナもサトコにやられたのかよ。
うん。椅子に座ろうとしたら画鋲が置いてあったの。
That's gotta hurt.
どっさり。そしたらそれを
And with that, I murdered her.
懐かしいな。
ミオンの部活にはいつ頃誘われたんだ？早速初日にか？
うんうん。最初は部活なんてなかったんだよ。
Wow.
途中からできたの。放課後にみんなで残ってゲーム大会をやろうって言い出して。
そういえばミオン初代部長とか言ってたっけな。納得。
内緒だけどね、みーちゃん最初は弱かったんだよ。全然勝てなかった。
ミオンが？ちょっと想像つかないぞ。
自分で言い出した罰ゲームほとんど自分でやってたんだよ。本当に内緒だからね。
I will. I will tell. Can't believe Myon was like that. So she gradually transformed into a monster who used any means necessary to win during that time. Myon was at her best when she's fighting dirty. I feel like that's
みー
anyone.
ちゃん以外ともちょっとずつお友達になれて。でも、ケイチくんが引っ越してきてからかな。ようやくここに馴染めたって自覚したのは。
I guess Rena had also been left in the dark about Oyashiro-sama when she had just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Oyashiro-sama, I'd be considered one of them.
俺はいつになったら仲間だと認めてもらえるんだろうな。
なんて言ったの？
あ、いや、ごめん。独り言。
ケイチくん変なの。
Rena was poking fun and laughing at me, and I couldn't help but laugh as well. But I suddenly stopped. Then after making up my mind, I spoke.
なあ、レナ。みんなは俺に嘘や隠し事なんかしてないよな。
してないよ、全然。
嘘だろ。
Rena suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense.
どういう意味だろう、ケイチくん。
Her tone was still the same cheery and light-hearted one as
し
before.
てるよな。俺に隠し事を。
After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that her face, I regretted saying something so rash. But she came back at me in a way I didn't expect.
じゃあさ、ケイチくん。ケイチくんこそ、レナたち
That's
に
great.
嘘や隠し事をしてないかな。
Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Rena. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe that this was the same Rena.
してないかな。嘘や隠し事してないかな。
You were... secrets? She didn't actually say that part, but she looked as if she did. The incident with Tomotaki-san and how I felt alienated from the group. Even without having to think about it, there were things I knew that I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone what happened with Tomotaki-san to be considerate. I was keeping it as a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Oyashiro-sama. Then, aren't we even?
してないよ。嘘も隠し事も。
嘘だよ。
Her answer was instant and it shook me. Rena stared as if burrowing through me, watching me like a
ど
hawk.
うして嘘だって。
圭一くん、昨日の部活の時、先生に呼ばれて職員室に行ってたって言ったよね。レナは知ってるよ。圭一くんは職員室になんか行かなかった。
I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff. She knew what would happen.
先生はお客さんが来たって言ったんだよね。でも昇降口ではお話ししてなかった。校門のところの車の中で知らないおじさんと。
Rena knew everything. She knew that I was caught up by Uishi-san and that I heard about the incident with Tomotaki-san as well. Did she know all of it?
誰？あのおじさん。
知らない人だよ。
知らない人がなんで圭一くんに用があるの？
俺が知りたいよ。
じゃあ何の話をしていたの？
みんなとは関係のない話だよ。
It was a lie.
嘘だ！
Oh my god, that was kinda scary. Rena's scream echoed through the trees, sending frightening birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken, nor was it like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here I first realized. The person in front of me, she wasn't Rena Ryugu. Then who was this standing before me now? Who had assumed Rena Ryugu's appearance? I had held my breath for so long I could feel myself suffocating.
ね？
And then she made a facial expression that Rena normally might have made. Didn't matter that it was Rena's usual smile, which chilled me to the bone. She drew closer to me. I felt her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was with Rena's face was going to chew my nose right off. I cowered as I imagined that. Then she smirked as if she was able to see right through me.
圭一くんに内緒や隠し事があるように、レナたちにだってあるんだよ。
But her eyes were still like that of a hawk's, bringing her face close enough to mine to almost bump into my nose. She kindly persuaded me. I couldn't nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Rena, frightened me to my core. I was terrified knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously. After what it felt like an eternity, after a long, empty silence, he finally spoke.
行こう。だいぶ涼しくなってきたよ。
It was Rena again. No, it's not. Smiling at me once more, she stood walking off as if nothing happened. When I was released from her gaze, my legs gave out from under me and I slumped onto the ground. I wasn't able to lift a finger until Rena was out of sight.
誰だったんだよ。
I felt cold, my body was drenched in sweat. I was finally able to form a coherent thought and asked myself once again, who was that person who looked like Rena Ryugu? Oh, is that like a game show? Who's that Pokemon? Or who's that Rena Ryugu? Oh my god, I could make millions off of that show idea. I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner except stare blankly into space. Well, technically that is doing something. Was I terrified from Rena going off on me? No, that's not right. That was someone else who only looked like Rena. Then, who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling, knowing that there was someone else not Rena, so tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem talking to Rena like I usually do. That thought was strangely comforting. I concluded that I should just stay calm and clear my head. Though those thoughts continued swirling around my mind, finally I returned to my senses as I heard my mother calling out to me from the bottom of the stairs. Keiichi's mom, lol.
本屋さんから電話よ。
Bookstore? Can't think of why they'd be calling me. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway.
夜分遅くに申し訳ありません。私、沖宮書房の大石と申します。
大石さん？大石さんじゃないですか。
ごめんなさいね。ご両親が出られたので、本屋さんということにしておきました。
Imagine he has it on speaker, and his parents just like, what the fuck is happening?
警察ですって名乗ると、いろいろ気分を害されるでしょうしね。
Ueshi-san was, in his own way, rather courteous. Even so, I didn't want my parents hearing me talk to the police. I brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed back up to my room on the second floor.
夜分遅くにすみませんですね。実は昨日渡した電話番号のメモ、あれ古い番号だったんです。本当に申し訳ない。これから申し上げる番号を控えておいてもらえますか。
あ、はい。どうぞ。
He gave me the number from his direct line as I wrote it down. I thought that was the end of it, but he began making pointless small talk and it was pretty hard to hang up.
さて、どうでしょう、前原さん。何か変わったことはありましたか？
I see. This was the real reason. He really beat around the bush there. His adult conversational skills left me
大石さん
slack-jawed.
はここの地元の方ですか？
ええ、そうです。生まれも育ちも沖宮ですよ。
If he's from around here, he might know.
大石さん、鬼隠しって何のことか知ってますか？
それはですね、人が鬼にさらわれ、忽然といなくなってしまうことなんで
They're
す。
saying the name of it again. Wow.
このあたり独特の言い回しですね。
Technically, there's a lot of different ways to say it. Like, the translation for this Urk name, like, all the other Urk names have, like, kinda one translation, except this one, which in the manga, it's called Abducted by Demons. In the anime, like, the dub, it's called Spirited Away by the Demon. That's my personal favorite. In the anime translated, it's called Snatched by Demons. And in the visual novel, it's just called Onikakushi, the first chapter.
世間様で言う神隠しと同じ意味です。
Who says that? Whereas my friends would say they didn't know what I asked, this older man gave me a direct answer. It made me a bit happy that he answered me directly without trying to hide anything.
Hinamizawaは、前原さんにこんなこと言っていいんでしょうか。
もったいぶらないでくださいよ。大石さんが言わないなら、俺も何も言いませんよ。
ああ、いやいや。
Wow.
そういう意味じゃない。
Wow, okay. Nice
ただ
play.
気を悪くされないかと思いましてね。
Good job,
実はです
Keiichi.
ね、Hinamizawaはその昔、鬼の住む里って呼ばれて恐れられていたんですよ。
鬼？鬼って地獄にいる金棒を持ったあの？
Oh wow, you just described every cartoon demon ever.
というよりは人食い鬼ですな。
See, this guy's talking more my style.
里に降りてきて人をさらって食い散らかしてしまう。なんて怖
Sounds
い
yummy.
昔話があるんですよ。
Demon snatching up people is what Onikakushi really
たたり
means.
と鬼隠しは一緒に起こるって言ってましたけど、どういうことですか？
I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row. But I didn't know there were people disappearing for those same 5
た
years.
たりと鬼隠しが必ず一緒に？それは初めて聞きました。そうなんですか、前原さん。
それは俺が聞きたいですよ。レナとミオンが話してたんです。お社様のたたりなら必ずたたりと鬼隠しが起こるって。
Bro, mention how Mion said her grandmother is gonna take care of it. Like, that's like more good evidence than just like, what does this phrase mean? It's like you hear someone say a new phrase for the first time and you're just like, oh, what does that mean? And then just completely ignoring everything else. Maybe something that came to my
前
mind.
原さん、最初の事件ご存知ですよね。
Oh my god, don't talk about the incidents
Barabara.
again. Yeah, no, you're gonna say the exact same thing we already know. Don't do it.
6人の犯人のうち1人はまだ逃走中なんですよね。
例えばそれ、逃走中じゃなく、鬼隠しにあったんじゃないでしょうかね。
Okay, wow, there's actually new information about that. Huh? It was an outrageous hypothesis from Oishi-san. Like, I feel like this game is really good, and I definitely think that the visual novel is like better than the anime version of Higurashi, but I do have to like wonder why stuff like that happens, where they just say the exact same thing over and over again. The incident 4 years ago was the particularly ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. They stalked out various locations and investigated every possible escape route he had. But after 4 years, there wasn't even a hint of where he might be. Unless the police were completely incompetent, which they are, in this case. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh
じ
it
ゃあ
off.
その翌年の事故はどうです？
Like, seriously, Oishi is not the best cop.
誘致派の男と妻が一緒に事故死したんですよね。
実はですね、正式には事故死したのは夫だけなんです。妻は死体が上がりませんでしたから。現行法では死体が発見されない限り行方不明扱いなんですよ。
At the time of the incident with the river below the cliff made being muddy rapids, the police divers had searched every branch of the main stream of the river for dozens of miles, but in the end, they weren't able to find her body.
でも死体が見つからないだけで亡くなったんですよね。鬼隠しとは違うんじゃないですか？
死体が出ない以上亡くなったとは言えません。
I feel like that's kind of the rule of everything, like that you can't confirm someone's death until you find their body.
法律で定めた年月が過ぎるまで生存扱いなんです。
I'm not sure if it was right to call that being demoned away. The wife is missing. At least that part was reality.
3年目はどうなんですか？神主は病死、妻は自殺ですよ。
前原さん、実はね、これも全く同じなんですよ。
The wife had supposedly thrown herself into the bottomless swamp deep in the forest around Hinamizawa, meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in front of the swamp. A diver was able to recover a few of her articles, but they weren't able to find a body. The investigative, oh my god, I'm butchering the reading, why? Headquarters believed that she had faked her death and was still
これ
alive
らを
somewhere.
鬼隠しと呼んでいいかちょっとわかりませんが、
I was gonna say, like, why haven't they sent a diver to the bottom of the bottomless swamp? They'll probably find a lot of these bodies if they
前
do.
原さんの言う通り、確かに毎年一人行方不明になっています。
今年の事件では富武さんの連れの女の人が行方不明。じゃあ去年の主婦の撲殺事件はどうです？誰か行方不明になりましたか？確か犯人は逮捕されたんですよね。
ええ、逮捕されてます。以前に逮捕歴もあるやつでしてね、別件で取り調べ中に犯行を自供してます。ですがですね、犯人逮捕からしばらくして被害者宅の子供が行方不明になったんです。犯罪に巻き込まれたのかどうなのか、現在も捜査してます。
だって犯人は捕まったんですよね。それともその仲間が？
さあ、多分単独犯だと思います。もっとも今では確かめようもないんですよ。実はその男、取り調べ中に拘置所内でお亡くなりになっちゃいまして。
He swallowed a spork and a spork? Oh my god, that's like the worst way to die. It's not known whether it was an accident or suicide. He swallowed a spork. Great.
必ず死者と行方不明者が一人ずつ出ているわけなんですよね。
そうなります。
Well, last year it sounds like 2 people died and 1 person went missing.
私も驚いていますよ。こんな共通項には気づきませんでした。
I couldn't believe that this could help lead to the closing of those incidents. It was just something they had in common.
例えば鬼隠しにあって失踪した人には何か共通点があるとか。
Uwe said mumbled as he seemed to think about it. So I summarized the
1
events.
年目はダムの作業員。
Okay, no, I don't need to hear this.
3年目は
No.
4年目は被害者と特につながりはなさそうだし。
1年目はともかく。
Oh my god. I know I shouldn't like just spam through text like that, but like seriously, we get that these people have died. We get it. It does seem like there are a lot. Then that means the 4th year's victim side was different. It would really have stood out if they were all married couples, except it's not just married couples, but parents and children as well. Come to think of it, I believe Tomitaki-san also told me the younger brother is alive and has moved, if I recall correctly.
4年目に行方不明になった子供ってどんなだったんですか？
おとなしい感じの方だったらしいです。年はあなたの一つ上です。名前は北条聡さん。
Satoshi.
え？サトシ？
I remember that name. Didn't they tell me Satoshi transferred out
あな
last
た
year?
の学校に去年まで通っていました。話を聞いていませんか？
Come to think of it, when I transferred in, I believe they said my seat belonged to a recent transfer student. Then where I sat once belonged to the one who was demoned away. It was his seat? I recalled the cold sensation that came from that desk. It made my hair stand on end. The string of mysterious deaths. No, Oishiro-sama's curse. I now know how it connected to me. That chilling sensation was feeling Oishiro-sama's caressing the back of my
お
neck.
社様のたたりか。
Could Oishiro-sama's curse really exist? In all honesty, I was beginning to believe it. And I was scared. That was why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by man, not the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely that seemed. No, the more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging eventually, I'd reach the point where I'd learn something I really shouldn't know. To either be none the wiser, or to seek an answer I may regret. Which one would I be happier with? How about run away from the village? Maybe it'll be me next time. My execution can only be delayed for 1 year. That was when I remembered. Rena! Rena said she may be the next victim of the curse.
竜宮レナさんがですか？去年転校されてきた前原さんのクラスメートですよね。女の子には刺激の強い事件ばかりです。怖がるのも無理ないんじゃないでしょうかね。
It wasn't that. She said it might be her next. She said in a way that made me think she had a concrete reason
も
behind
っ
it.
と確信じみたものだったように思います。なんていうのか、その。
She was frightened. Her sudden change in demeanor. That was someone who looked like Rena, but it wasn't Rena. That might be unrelated. All the stranger things that I felt from Rena today came back to me.
そうですか。では、こちらでも少し調べてみます。前原さんも少し竜宮さんの様子に注意してあげてください。
それはレナを見張れってことですか？
そんな意味ではありませんよ、前原さん。お友達が次の被害者にならないよう少し気にしてあげてほしいということです。
At that moment, just as my mouth was agape because I was so impressed with his mature, clever way with words. Knock knock. A sudden knock at the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I had pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver.
ケイチ、ちょっとここを開けてくれ。
No, barricade it. Don't want him in. At the other side of the door, I heard my father's oddly upbeat voice. What could it be? It's so late.
すみません、親父が来ました。今夜はこれくらいでいいですか？
ええ、夜分遅くに本当に申し訳ありませんでしたね。何か分かりましたら教えてください。こちらも進展がありましたらご報告では失礼します。
ケイチ、早く開けてくれ。
Oh my god, that... Why is when any character says Keiichi that's an adult man, it's cringy.
父さん、両手が塞がってるんだ。
What is dad doing? I had stayed at the same position while on the phone the whole time so my joints were aching. When I opened the door I saw my father was standing there with the tray. On that tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea, a fairly fancy spread for a household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the side. Everything you could ask for. This was quite the show of hospitality.
何父さん、それ何のつもりだよ。
もう、はぐらかすなよ、ケイチ。入るぞ。
Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face, but for my entire life I've never seen him act this hospitable. What had gotten into him?
で、何の話をしてたんだ？
I jumped. It's not something I had to keep from my father, but how could I explain to him that I was talking to a detective? I'm assuming he was, this late at night.
別に何も。友達だよ。
電話の話じゃなくて、来てたんだろう、今。レナちゃんが。
Huh?
来てないよ。
Nani?
まあ、 ごまかさなくたっていいぞ。さ
何
っきレナちゃんが遊びに来てたじゃないか。だいぶ話し込んでるみたいだったからお茶でもって思ったらすれ違いだったんだよ。
I had no idea what Dad was talking about, but a cold sweat dripped down my back.
どのくらい話し込んでたかな。
レナちゃんが2階に上がったのが半くらいだったから小1時間くらいかな。
2階に上がったの父さん見たの？
ああ見たよ。ケイイチの部屋は階段を上がって奥の扉だよって声もかけた。
Verna came to my house about an hour ago. Dad met her at the door and called out to me on the second floor. I probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on my conversation with Uishi-san. I didn't reply, but he knew I was in my room, so he had her come inside. Then told her my room was on the second floor. She thanked my dad and went upstairs, and then about an hour passed. She passed by my dad just as he was bringing up tea and I left. An I? Where'd I get I from? I don't know. Sometimes I just butcher the reading and I don't even understand why. She came upstairs and about an hour passed. Then passed my dad and returned home. Then, after she came upstairs and until she left, where was Rena? There was only a short hallway between my room and the stairs, meaning Rena had, for about an hour, in the hall. No, she couldn't have been sitting in front of my door all that time. The door to my room wasn't particularly thick. You could hear easily everything being said inside. All of those unsettling and ungooded things I spoke to Uishi-san about began rushing through my
お
head.
父さん、あまりからかっちゃダメよ。それよりアトリエを片付けて。またこぼすわよ。
Mom yelled up at Dad from downstairs. Dad left the tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointed chortle. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down at the floor around the door where Rena might have stood all that time. Just now, as I was talking to Uishi-san with my back turned, Rena was standing a mere 6 feet away the whole time. All that time in this dimly lit doorway? What did she see? What did she hear? For what reason? And why are you having a phone call so close to your door when you're trying to be secretive? As the steam from the 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of the black tea filled the room. Spooky. Oh my god, I'm tired. But that went well, totally. New tip acquired. Notice from the police chief. And we are going to end there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like, subscribe, this is great, appreciate it. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye.